Hey guys, my name is Justin. I have a residential construction company here in Elk River, but I am so excited. I think out of the different Eventbrites I've done, I mean every single person is special to me. But this one, I'm so excited about because we have Dr. Jared Wade here, and not only is he here, but he has just finished traveling, so he's full of life.
Yeah, I don't know if it's life or it's just lack of sleep, but I'm hanging on. I'm hanging on.
Yeah. So like when it came to kind of like the pest control stuff that you're doing, is it like when you look at the early days of kind of your transition, because like you said, you're an active military, then you're going into now it's like small business owner life. Was there kind of like an identity moment where, because I think like for example, corporate, you're just like you put on the hat, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hi, I'm corporate
Mm-hmm.
pest control guy." But then there's like an inner identity. I think that happens once when it's like yours. Do you
Yeah,
remember kind of that transition?
actually, it's kind of funny because the whole cliche is if you love what you do, it's not considered work.
Hmm.
And just the passion I have for animals and insects alone, not
Yeah,
that the term pests,
yeah,
um, has always been something that I've been drawn to. So it's never a dull moment. It's always been fun. So
yeah,
like sometimes I catch myself in a little bit of like a um like self-identity
yeah,
where I'm just like people are like, "Oh, you're the owner." And I'm like, "I don't really feel like an owner though." And
yeah,
I really don't feel like I wear that hat, either. So
yeah.
it's just been kind of
And so for you, when you first got started, was it more like the serving the clients at a high level, yes, and then it was like an ethical base, and then I was like, okay, now I need to learn how to how to like provide a better service, so you became better at it, or was it more like you already love animals and you're like, all right, this little raccoon, like how can I help him? Where do I bring him versus do I just throw him somewhere? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and I think like our motto, I think is going to probably be on a slide here,
Yeah,
but the really thing that
yeah, it'd
encompasses
probably be
everything
this.
is it's like we advocate for all things that don't have a voice.
Yeah.
So like when you think about advocating, you're advocating for a vulnerable population, right?
Right, right.
In the animal world and insect world, that is done by basically either trapping and
Hmm.
relocating
Right,
or relocating their curiosities is
right.
what I say all the time
Yeah,
because their curiosity is what's bringing them to most of these spaces.
yeah,
So I always joke, yes, I have clients. Yes, there are people that come
yeah,
and ask for services rendered, but I look at my clients as the animals that we're saving.
yeah.
I look at my clients as the insects that need to be relocated.
Hmm.
And don't get me wrong when I say relocation, there are some insects that don't serve a purpose, that are
Right.
considered nuisance, that
Absolutely.
are
Absolutely.
that we do take out.
Yeah,
Like we do kill bugs. We're not like
yeah,
save all the bugs, but we do also have holistic opportunities for those people, like
yeah.
a client of mine that doesn't want spiders on their house, but they don't want the spiders killed.
Right.
And that's done through modification. So the legacy group, you kind of took a look at that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
we'll
what
prop
had
it up
happened
back here.
is um, what had happened is I created the Mosquito Militia, and that was the insect control
Hmm.
that later branched off into Mid-Sota Wildlife Ops, which is our animal controlled side. So
Gotcha.
between the two, we've got this M that someone asked
Yeah,
about. So this is our logo. Um, and then as you can see in the slide, or the slide there, the name
yeah.
and the business with the M
Yep.
in it.
I'm gonna use
So
the
instead of
fancy.
using in both names and different logos, we unified the business into
Yeah,
just one logo. And what's
yeah,
really cool about this is being able to see people in the wild, like in
yeah,
Walmart, wearing my stuff
yeah.
and not realizing that they know what it's for. They just think it's cool.
Right.
And that's just kind of part of the footprint that we create,
Yeah,
just the brand awareness. But then what had happened is in every business, you need to do marketing, you need to do advertising, you need
right.
to do all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I have an MBA
Hmm.
in international business and marketing. So I do a lot of design work.
Yeah.
So Cover Six Graphics was born. And then
Okay.
my one of my employees has taken it over
Hmm.
and created
It's
her own name
awesome.
on it.
Yeah.
So that was the octopus leg that branched off
Right.
from our insect
Yeah.
brand. And then we have HQ Professional Services, which is legal filing and stuff.
Yep.
And that was branched off from our legal gal that
Yeah.
now runs that. And
Gotcha.
then just recently we added LZ Drone Services, and that came from our back cams
Right. I was gonna
because we were
say.
doing all of our drone montages of our business, whether
Yeah.
we're taking out a hive or climbing going into a chimney or whatever, looking for
Yeah.
bats. And we started doing this drone montage, and then we started getting people reaching out to us and be like,
Right.
"Hey, can you do a drone montage for us? So then LZ Drone Services was
Gotcha.
born.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible because all right. So let's get into the education now that we have covered. I mean, there's so much to cover in such little time.
Yeah.
So I have a couple questions that came up while I was talking about this. So I'm gonna do that, but before we do that, we got kind of the overall viewpoint on pest control because I think there's a lot of TikToks and so much education, but there's not a lot of wisdom in that. And then there's also the age of like what is that pest thing that people used to spray all the time that like killed literally everything and the environment. You know what I mean? So there's
Mm-hmm.
like so much education on it. But what should homeowners be looking for as early signs before the problem begins? So a lot of times I think this is a question for new homeowners, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they start off in the new home, they're like, oh my gosh, it's so great. And then all of a sudden you get calls for ants, you get calls for the bees, and basically any other living thing that stayed in there. So what's your viewpoint on like what are some like two things people should be doing or can be doing in order to prevent that the where they actually have to end up calling you.
Mm-hmm. So the insect world is a little bit different than that because there's a lot of theories and stuff that go in there. I
Yeah.
mean, much like we live in a state with 4 seasons,
Hmm.
there's different seasons of insects.
Mm.
And sometimes you just can't get away from them. There's no one stop wave over one eradication for the whole year, and then you don't have that species of insect
Yeah. Yeah.
for various
It's
reasons.
called fire.
Yeah.
It's like
And then everything else is gone. But
yeah.
so from the insect side, it's a variable answer because it
Yeah.
just kind of depends.
Mhm.
But from an animal side, if you're dealing with anything from like rodents or bats or raccoons or red squirrels, the the warning signs are increased feces.
Mhm.
So if you're starting to notice like increased feces in corners or larger feces that doesn't look like it should be in that
Yeah.
area,
Right.
is a red flag.
Yeah.
The other one is noise.
Mhm.
Sometimes I tell my homeowners, at night before you go to bed or whatever, just shut off everything and just stand in your living room in the dark
Yeah.
for like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
If you hear anything,
Yeah.
call someone.
Right. Right.
Because not most of the time, a lot of homeowners, there's always something making noise, right?
Mhm.
Whether it's a fan, whether you sleep with your TV on,
Yeah.
whether you sit there and lay in bed and watch TikToks till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
because that's the only thing that helps you sleep. They don't identify a problem until the problem becomes louder than the noise that they have.
Yeah. Right.
So
Right.
a good just, for your own sanity is just to make sure that you listen to your home in those quiet hours.
Right. Right. And I think too, another one that people sometimes overlook is when it comes to the exterior of your house, right? That's the first and foremost thing that happens is so if you look at it kind of in my opinion is like so you first have your lawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then people have gardens and all that, but that's one thing. But it's like I'm not talking about like your lawn necessarily. I'm talking about the landscaping around your house as in creeping Charlies, like I think that's what they're called, right? Those big green, they look like green monster type
Mm-hmm.
things, and they just keep growing. Like those things, I think I've seen so many different animals. Like they love their vines, like the little like trunks that they have. Like they just create this crazy area that creates a great haven for. I think most times is like obviously like insects, but when people want have like squirrels or like those squirrel nests and then they get in eventually they go from that into the house during the
Mm-hmm.
winter you know um I think that's a really interesting
In our world, we call those harborage areas.
Harvard.
So
Okay.
where the animals
Fancy
and
words.
insects can harborage.
Okay.
And that could be in your home, and that could
Hmm.
be on your lawn. It could be in your landscaping
Yeah.
rocks. It could be in your boulders.
Yeah.
It could be in those low hanging trees or weeping willows or whatever. So
Hmm.
like looking around your property and realizing that literally anything to the size of a blade of grass is considered a harborage area.
Yeah.
Anything that harborages a shadow or keeps an area cool is
Okay.
where they're going to be in
That
the
makes
hot
sense.
parts of the day. So
Yeah.
that's why at night when it starts to go down cool.
So what are some of the hidden health risks associated with common pests? So let's start with the easy one, right? Well, maybe not easy, but it's like most common flies. So I have somebody that asked us like I have a type of fly and it's like a cloud. Like they just come. It's not just like, you're eating and then all of a sudden these things are just producing like crazy.
Hmm.
What are like because I think it's weird because when you first have them, you're like swatting, you're like, what the heck? And then people become accustomed to it where it's just normal.
Hmm.
So is there a health risk with flies?
I think there's a health risk with a lot, well, just insects in general,
Yeah.
especially ones that will literally eat other animals' feces like flies.
Hmm.
Um, I think the big thing with flies is it is an indication of um, filth in a lot
Hmm.
of different ways.
Yeah.
And that filth can be um, food dropping out, a French fry from Hardee's in your center
Yeah.
console on the floor
Yeah.
goes, to junk and then produces flies and flies lay eggs in it and then it just kind of grows,
Oh,
right? So
girl.
it is associated with filth and decaying matter. So on
Yeah.
the other side of the fence, it's like if you have a dead rodent or a dead animal or a deer that got hit and it
Yeah.
lands in your ditch, that is all breeding grounds to this, and then that's
Yeah.
residual cross contamination. Like if a fly lands in your hot dog, like
Yeah.
you just got to understand those are vectors. They're
Yeah.
carrying things.
Yeah. Like you can
So
still eat, like don't be paranoid, but be
no, no,
educated.
no, yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
you see this stuff and you're not in a bubble suit.
hmm
You're living in COVID before COVID happened. You're like, man,
yeah, and I built
you're
this in COVID, so
like so all right. So on like kind of like an easy scale, right? Let's say I got like somewhere between like I'm not infested with flies, but I'm starting to see the signs. What is like is my dad, he puts up these bags that just smell
hmm
so bad, but they're effective.
hmm
Is there any better choice than those smelly bags?
the smelly bags are actually really effective
They're
because they can
crazy.
catch billions and then,
Billion.
stop it. So it's one of those things where with flies, it depends on the species of flies because there's so
Yeah.
many different species of
You
flies.
were telling me about that one fly earlier.
The
What?
blowfly.
Yeah, so real quick, let's talk about the blowfly. Tell me about this thing. This is
So the blowfly is kind of a house fly, but a little bit larger, and it's got hair on it. It's a larger fly. And what they do is
this one, right?
that's it.
That's it. Okay, so
Yep.
yeah.
Typically, when you have a blowfly, it is a representation of filth.
Okay. So real quick, guys. So if your fly looks like it's green, that is like
Green or it's like really large and brown and hairy because there's
yeah,
different species of blowfly. But
yeah.
yeah.
So all right, I remember this. I want this to be a real. So let's talk about okay. What was it for the mosquito thing? Like, so if you have a bottle cap, or how many eggs does it
Yeah, so
release?
from the
Like,
mosquito world, basically
oh,
something like five, it's like 5 billion mosquitoes in a month through 4 generations of mosquito larvae. So it's like it's usually a bottle cap of water can produce millions of mosquitoes in 24 hours. Yeah,
all right. Like okay,
that's it.
what's how do you know about flies? Like in like I don't know. There's probably about this.
I mean, the insect world is crazy. I mean, even
Oh my
just
gosh.
literally ants all populate the globe by like 10 to 1. So the insect world is just, I mean, though a fly can produce a larva to a fly in like
I
just
got it. Back to the insects. We're not even in the mosquito yet, but the mosquito question's always like mind-boggling. All right, so how about mice? So mice are in Minnesota for sure, right? And I
hmm
mean anywhere in the world. But like we got different seasons and then like no joke, I had a mouse in my cabinet. I didn't act like it was a big deal. I just cleaned it and my wife has never opened that cabinet again. That happened like 3 years ago. We don't even know what's in that cabinet because she just keeps it closed. Um, but
So until we get new cabinets.
so yeah, literally, she was like, "We're burning everything." So honest,
Well,
like,
also, we live out in the country,
yeah, that's true.
so
That's true. Oh, here I should unpin us so people can see you. Oh, you look really nice.
you.
Yeah. Um. So when it comes to mice and inside living, what are like some, these are your three-step programs so that you don't have to get new cabinets. I mean, I would love them, but I don't want them right now. Um, and your wife doesn't like scream at you for being negligent or filthy or dirty.
I don't scream. I never scream.
Whisper. My bad.
So yeah, that's a good question. Like especially in Minnesota and with our winters, like what are three ways that as homeowners we can protect our home, and what do we look for on the exterior to make sure that nothing's getting into the house
Oh,
that
that
we
was
don't
a
want to
question of mine.
invite into
Great.
our house, especially as fall is coming.
Yeah, so much like there's seasons for bugs, there's seasons for rodents. And
Mhm.
rodents, typically it's your spring after winter, and because they're nesting, and then before winter because they're winterizing.
Yeah.
So like rodents are mammals,
Yeah.
just like us. So they have their cycle of life as well too.
Mhm.
Eat, breed, winterize, live out your life the best you can, and one way
Yeah.
die, right?
Yeah.
So
Squeeze through every little bit of
and that's the point that I was
Yeah.
gonna make is mice can actually dislocate their ribs
yeah.
into like really hard to reach areas. So the thing with mice control is in order to do an extrusion on the outside of your home, the best thing to do is to seal the highways,
Yeah.
the ones that take no effort for the
Yeah.
mouse to get in.
Right.
Like a mouse is going to get in your house whether you want them to or not. Even if you went through with a fine-tooth comb and caulked everything, they're going to find a way in unless it's a brand new build and there's just all the seams are still seams. They
Yeah.
haven't settled yet.
Yeah.
So generally the rule of thumb is,
If
if it's
so like pinky, or was it like if I was I mean my fingers are pretty small, so like a hole because they can dislocate it. So it's basically it has to fit their skull and
that's it.
So and their skulls are like
Yep.
ugh.
So as long as they can fit their head, they can fit their whole body.
That's so crazy.
So
It's like an
garage-
octopus.
Right. So garage doors, when the rubber seal,
Right. That's a
if a
classic
red
way.
squirrel or anything chewed that rubber seal,
Yeah.
and it's not a seal anymore, or you shut the garage light off and you can see light coming in,
Yeah.
you're getting mice in through your garage, and if it's unfinished, they're getting into the walls and the rest of your house.
Yeah.
Oh
So
boy.
the thing with that is like for mouse control is you seal all the highway spots. And then what we do is we use an organic deterrent on the foundation side, exterior and interior, to kind of keep the mice from entering the home and the exterior interior side. The ones in your house, what you want to do is what most homeowners do, and not talking as licensed pest control, but just homeowners, is they set snap traps,
Right.
But the thing is, you're laying in your bed at night and you hear up, and then you're like, oh, I got to go up and get that. Otherwise, that thing's going to rot overnight and I'm going to get flies, right?
Yeah.
So what we do is we use bait stations, and a lot of companies use bait stations.
Okay.
And those are those stations that you put in your house and the mice get to, and then they eat the bait and then ultimately expel. They die with that bait.
Yeah.
Which we can get more into the organics of the bait station, but typically that's what we do is we do
like
seal up all access points that are highways,
Yeah.
and then we do an organic deterrent inside and out, and then we set bait stations.
Right.
Some commercial entities put snap traps down,
Right.
but then you as a homeowner have to maintain the
Right.
snap traps they left.
Yeah, and the other thing is, we at our other place, there was like the sticky trap thing,
Mm-hmm.
but people don't realize the sticky traps is a lot of times they think like, TV's on or whatever, but those things scream, and it's loud, and it's the saddest thing ever because like they'll be like they get stuck, they're like, ah, shoot. Probably not shoot, but then their face gets stuck,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're really screaming, and then they eventually like that's how they die is like they suffocate most times, right?
And in the pest control world,
man.
sticky traps for both rodents and snakes are an industry standard tool for pest control operators to use.
Yeah.
I will just use the disclaimer and say we do not use sticky traps
Right.
under any condition
Right.
because it's the most inhumane way
Right.
to kill an animal,
Yeah.
especially a snake. And I've had times where I've had to
Dude, that's
unstickify
sad.
live animals.
Yeah, we
from
yeah.
previous.
We did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and that's the other thing is like, I think I'm gonna show this really quick. What is it? The PETA line? Is there like a right? Like this is kind of what I feel like because I have some homeowners that are like never like Ariella is one of them that is like she won't barely like a mosquitoes where like the line is. So if you guys remember this, there's like a billboard, right? Or like that's a TikTok that it's gonna open. Like where's the line? Like where's the line of pets and stuff? There's definitely, at least for me, the line is pretty close to this. I would actually do before the rabbit. I haven't been to Japan, but I guess the horse is really good. I'm not saying I would try, but I mean, Daryl, that's probably what he's. I don't know. I don't know if Daryl, have you ever tried horse?
No, nope.
Okay,
Nope.
me either. I was just joking, everyone on the internet. But no, but my point is like my point is the PETA line, right? So it people usually end at the horse or dog or the rabbit. So in the pest control world, thank God we don't have to eat them. But like, where's the line of? I mean, and you went to school and like you actually got like learned about like the consciousness of the nice and stuff. Where's the line that is like kill, don't kill, eat, don't eat?
Yeah, so as far as I hate this word because people use it all the time, extermination. Like
Yeah, you're not an
we're
exterminator,
we're not I'm not an exterminator. And that's a
Yeah,
big misconception with the world of pest control is they
Yeah.
just default naturally to extermination.
yeah,
And though there is conditions where that's acceptable
yeah,
because they're nuisance,
right,
we're pest control technicians,
Yeah.
So what that means is basically we identify based, or I shouldn't say we, because I'm going to put myself in the pest control world because every business does things differently. Ours
Right.
is very, very different.
right,
Um, per licensing standards, there's some instances where it is okay and it tells you where to euthanize an animal,
right,
like how to ethically do that
A
without
mercy.
harm,
Yeah,
right, to the
yeah.
animal.
Right.
There's ways of doing that, and there's people that do them many different ways.
Yeah,
For me, any time that you're dealing with an animal that has a brain of its own, which most do,
Mhm.
in this case, I would say your smallest mammal, your moles, your gophers, your shrews, all the way up to your largest North American mammal,
Right.
are all things that need to be redirected, if you
Right.
will.
Right.
That doesn't necessarily mean expelled, right?
Yeah.
So I think the line for me that's drawn is, and I have instances like I mentioned, I think off camera here,
Yeah.
where some homeowners are so about their insects where they just want you to modify the habitat,
Right.
but they don't want you to kill the insect.
Right.
We do offer that service.
Mhm.
There's other commercial entities that are like, nope, if I gotta
Yeah.
nuke them, I gotta make your
Yeah.
yard glow in the dark at night,
Right.
or
right.
I'm not your person.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
we don't do that. So we
Right.
cater to both the client's needs and whatever that might be, but also the most ethical way for that animal.
Yeah.
We think about that animal as well. And within that, how is our work with that animal to redirect its curiosity going to alter, if at all, the environment it lives in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a very
Right.
large carbon footprint look at
Right.
things because we look at everything holistically. So, like for instance, our rodent mitigation.
Mhm.
We want the mice out of the home. We don't want the mice dying in the walls because it dies in the walls and you get flies and it
Yeah.
starts to smell,
Which
right?
most people don't care. They're just like kill it all
Yep,
and then
kill it
just
all.
let it
And
let
then
it decay.
then I got to tear my walls out. And then
Yeah.
you find snakes. That's a whole different story.
Yeah,
But anyway,
yeah.
so we want to be able to allow the mouse to get out of the house
Yeah.
and die outside the four walls.
Yeah.
But then we have to start thinking about, in the event that it does, a stray cat, a barn cat, a
Mhm.
fox, an owl, a hawk, an eagle comes down to eat that
Yeah.
then poisoned mouse.
Right.
What does
Yeah.
that happen? What effect does that have on
Yeah.
that other animal?
Yeah.
And that's called cross contamination.
Yeah.
So we work really hard to eliminate cross contamination by the products we use.
Yeah.
And I won't get into specifically what that means because
Right.
it's intellectual, but basically we are confident that when we go in to deal with rodents specifically,
Yeah.
because we're not killing anything larger than a rat,
Right.
right?
Right.
So if we start getting into squirrels, flying squirrels, foxes,
Yeah.
fishers, martins, bears,
Do you
wolves,
you
deer,
you keep
rabbits,
minks
whatever.
around?
What's that?
How many minks do you get rid of?
On average? What do you mean?
Yeah, like you keep me like minks. Minks are a hard one for me because they killed my 12 chickens.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess they had to eat. But they don't even eat the thing. They just bite the head off or scratch it and it dies because they're like weird venomous. I don't know what the hell they are.
Yeah, so then like
Ridiculous.
what we do is we just basically we redirect our curiosity. So I
Yeah.
use that term a lot, and it's basically like we will live trap them,
And
and
bring them
then
to
we work
someone
with
else's
people.
house.
No, not we don't bring them to other people's
You
house.
bring them to like competitor signs.
There's a story behind that, but we won't have to get into that right now. But anyways, so we basically remove them from that current habitat because
Yeah.
they're there because they don't know any different.
It's their life.
It's their life. They
you
don't
moved
know.
into their house probably.
Yeah.
Right.
This
Which we talked about.
single family home was developed in
Yeah.
their field, and they don't know any differently that is not their home anymore.
Right,
It's like an
right.
extended
They didn't
stay.
have a realtor, you know, or like a kind governmental person
Or a
come up-
solicitor to say,
or
hey, by the way,
solicitor.
this is being developed.
Yeah, you no longer can live here, and Mr. Raccoon, this area, if you come here, we're gonna, you know, harm you.
Yeah.
And the food, this isn't a restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, like.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Jared, I really love your perspective and approach for caring for animals. I think it's really beautiful. I'm curious, like for something like I'm here at home and I'm looking out to my yard and I'm on the second level, so I see this nice S track going down my backyard of little like mole hills, right? So like I don't want to have them eliminated, but I don't want them to dig up my yard, right? So, and we also live out, you know, there's a bunch of undeveloped land that it's swampy and just woodsy out back, and we love the wildness of that. But also we don't want to have them like the molehills. Like, what do you do in something like that? Because I think a lot of Minnesotans maybe deal with that. And like, what's your approach?
So
How do you redirect your curiosity in that case?
yeah, so that's a really great question. So there's obviously different ways to trap a mole, if you will. So before we get into that, the educational piece is the educational piece. How do you know what's a mole or a gopher or a vole, right?
Wow.
And it's like they're eating worms.
Yep.
So there's a whole nother part that you can do to get, you know, to
Right.
alleviate.
So basically, really easily placed is if it looks viney and when you walk on it, it's like a bog.
Yeah.
Those are moles.
Okay.
Gophers, pocket gophers are the ones that fling the dirt up and make a mound.
That's what we got.
Oh, we
So
have gophers.
those are pocket gophers, and those things can destroy tree roots, sprinkler systems. They'll chew through everything.
They're so
They're underground bulldozers, right? And then if you
So
walk
cool.
on the top of your grass and it looks like a grass canopy and it's just grass, like a veiny grass thing, those are voles. And
Wait,
voles
is
is
that
another fancy word for a field mouse.
Hold
Oh,
on.
wow, man. We have all three, Justin.
Hold on. Yeah, time out. Mole and vole is different.
Yeah.
That's not like a random.
No.
No way. I had no clue.
Yeah, so a mole is underground. They're
Okay.
subterraneal, like
Yeah.
gophers. Voles live above the ground.
So they're.
And the reason why they make the grass canopies is so when they run across your yard, they can't be seen by predator birds.
Oh, dude.
Oh, so
That's
smart.
crazy.
So the
Oh, I
very
had no
easy
clue.
way to get rid of a vole is if you see a vole run, just take a rake and stir up the grass. Because if you open up the canopy of the
Then they
tunnel
have
system,
nothing to do.
they have nothing to cross. They may make another one, but
Yeah.
they're susceptible to predators
and
at
it's
that
a ton
point.
of energy.
Yeah.
Like they have to deal with a lot of energy. I think gophers are one of the most like they're like it's like a beaver that never made it to beating.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they're like these awkward like they're like this weird in between like all right, glorified what do you call it? Like fat rat and beaver with only teeth but no tail. It's
Yeah.
like they're
And pocket gophers are the ones that have the large feet in the front so they
Yeah.
can dig and they can push a lot of dirt
It
fast.
looks so funny.
And they're called pocket gophers because their cheeks have little pockets in them. So they pocket their food or dirt as they're making their tunnels.
Dude.
Oh,
Chipmunks
So,
have little pockets.
But okay,
cute.
I had so many. Now we can finally get into my actual questions.
Wait, wait.
Wait, you want to know what
I have so
holistic
many.
way?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, Justin, what happens then?
So real
Go-
holistic
you-
way of getting rid of gophers and moles without
Golf.
hiring a pest control person
golf drivers.
is to do something that makes their tunnel system smell.
Mm.
That can be
Oh.
sulfate, that can be essential
Dude,
oil
this is
based.
for the TikTok.
It can be anything because they're subterranean. They
Oh, that's
only
such a good
depend
idea.
on vibrations and the dark. They live in the dark. So any
Wow.
way that you can mess with their sense that makes them feel like they're threatened and or they just don't want to be in that area is the best way to organically get rid of the problem. Now, it doesn't get rid of the problem elsewhere. It get rid of the problem in
that
the current
area.
tunnel system.
Okay.
So like
So-
what we do is we use a sulfate-based smoke. So we pump smoke in the tunnel and that smoke sits in there residually until it rains enough that it leaches away.
Man.
So then they smell that sulfur, that rotten egg, and they're like, I don't want to use this tunnel system.
Yeah, but
So
yeah,
it's not poison, it's not
Yeah.
anything, it's just Mother Nature, if you will.
yeah. I was
Wow.
like, my dogs my dog Poe pees everywhere. I'm like, maybe we should like. I'm like, I think it's probably a little bit more potent they need. He's
Wait,
like,
so sorry, follow-up question.
Oh,
What's the essential oil? How do you do that? What kind of oil and how do you do it?
yeah, so basically like a peppermint or lavender, basically what you would
Yeah,
use on rodents.
yeah,
And then what
yeah,
you do is you open up parts of the tunnel system with like either a little garden wedge or a stick or whatever you want to do to open it up. And then
yeah.
you just spray it in the hole and just kind of go down the run every once in a while. Sometimes you
Yeah.
can get a heavy oil based, but that's a product that we have.
so
And that
deep,
oil, we
man.
spray it on the top of the tunnel system
Okay.
and it just absorbs into the ground and into the tunnel. And because it's oil based,
Yeah,
water and oil don't mix.
right,
It lasts a little bit longer if it
right.
does leach any water into the tunnel
So
system.
can you?
Okay.
All right, let's say you have an RV. I don't have a RV. I have a travel trailer that I don't currently use at all. So let's say you have an infestation in a travel trailer. Is it the same type of like idea? I mean, if they're already living in and stuff, can you smoke those suckers out more or less?
What animal are we talking about?
Any.
Any?
I don't know, like so mice because you put peppermint balls or whatever, but then they still go in the whatever. So like is that in a solution that like people like you could come in and like pop that thing with peppermint whatever you use and then they smoke out, or is it something that you have to do live traps?
No. So live traps is the best thing is bait. The same process I said about a home, I would use in a truck, I would
Okay,
use in a
yeah,
van, I would use in
yeah.
a
That was an
RV, a travel
uneducated
trailer, a
question.
boat,
Yeah.
or whatever. So
Mm,
it'd be the same process that I would utilize um,
okay.
in any of those.
Okay. So all right, you got
Uh,
another
I
question?
had like funny story. So one time when I was in my garden, I was doing some weeding and all of a sudden, just like a cartoon I saw when I was a kid, I see something from my garden just slowly get pulled down. And I like summoned all the courage that I could to grab my plant
Right.
as it was going down. And I was slowly pulled it up, like half expecting a little animal to be holding on to it. But then there was a tunnel and it had taken all the roots and everything. And anyways, it was just really funny to actually see it in real time, slowly pull my plant into the ground. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I think so I don't want to spend too much time more, but we're about to spend at least another 10 minutes, I think. So this is another thing I think that we didn't get into. So the term being a advocate for all things that don't have a voice.
Oh, I
So
love that.
I know. I'm like, I wish I would have thought about that with my nonprofit. Like, it's such a strong phrase. But my question is like for you, the internal meter of like, because we love animals. We have like goats, I mean, I like animals, and I don't have a fear of them where like I don't love them. I mean, like I have like a internal meter of like, all right, like the other day I had to move. What was it? It's like a remove a mouse or whatever, and
Hmm.
or oh, it's a chipmunk from my garage. I'm like, all right, dude, like you just gotta move along. So took something. I'm like, hey, shoe out, and then I try to fix that where he came in from. So for you, like, when did that love for animals and like kind of that
Good
thing
question.
happen?
Yeah, I was a kid actually. My dream was to be Jack Hanna. I don't know if you know
Yeah,
that.
dude,
He used to bring animals on
he's
talk
the
shows.
coolest thing
So
ever. I remember growing up with that
yeah, so
guy. Yeah.
my when I was a kid, most people wanted to be firefighters or police officers.
Hmm.
I wanted to be a guy that brought animals on talk shows,
Agreed.
like Jack Hanna,
Oh,
or the
Yeah.
Kratz brothers.
Yeah.
So
Steve
like it's
Irwin,
always been a
rest in
passion of mine.
peace. Yeah.
Like birds would hit the window when I was a kid, and I would put a sock around them until
Yeah.
the wing got better, and then I'd let them go. So like
Yeah.
oh,
as a kid, it's a passion, and now I
Yeah.
get to be a big kid and do
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah, because I think yeah, similar like for the bird stuff, like I had a really vivid memory the other day. I mean I helped like we tried to save a duck the other day. And then my dog, that's a little more sentimental, but like or like if a bird hits, a window here. But I remember hunting, right? Like I'll everyone in my like I mean most people all hunted and I'm like, oh, like so I got like a BB gun or whatever. I was so excited for my first like I'm gonna try to like hunt like a bird or And I remember I killed this bird. I must have been like 10, and I shot, and somehow I hit either. I don't even, to be honest, I don't think I even killed it. I think I probably missed that thing, and it was probably already dead, and then I maybe hit something that it fell. And I remember like looking at it, like, oh my God. Like I remember the first time like seeing a dead frog. I'm like, what? Like this is terrifying. Like yeah, it sounds cool, the hunting thing. And then also I'm like, oh, this feels terrible. So I like put in tinfoil because I didn't have anything else, and they like buried a spot for it or whatever. But that was like my first time I think I realized like conscientiously was like death is a thing that's like
Yep.
like I don't want to participate in. Will I eat meat? Absolutely. Will I even kill it now? Yeah, because I have a different relationship. I'm thankful, you know. But so my other question I was gonna ask, so like for example, you catch something. So it's, maybe let's say bigger than a squirrel. So I'll go for. Do you ever have like where you go back to the wildlife refuge and release it? Do they ever like wave and be like, thank
No.
you?
Oh, the animals?
Yeah.
I actually have a photo somewhere of a raccoon that was displaced in the garage,
Yeah.
and I let him go and literally climbed up
Oh my
on a
gosh.
branch and went.
The pandas are the best. Oh,
What?
Western pandas are so cool. Like they're goofy.
Yeah.
They're so funny. Yeah, the trash panda thing is like they get such a bad rap, but they're actually, I mean, they for good reason, but they're hilarious, man. I like we used to have raccoons all the time. I love watching those things. We had a baby raccoon just up in the tree the other day, last year, and it was like so much personality. Like, and I mean, I was scared. Yeah, like I don't want to get bit, but I would still like if that was a person, I would hang out with them. They're just fun. It's like carnies.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, they've got big personalities,
Yeah.
for sure.
What's your favorite animal like to see? That you're like, oh, like I'm sorry you guys that you have this issue, but I'm so glad I get to see this type of animal.
It's got to be the raccoons. It's got to
Yeah.
be the
Really?
raccoons. I think sometimes even bats. People think bats are
Dude, the bat
nasty
thing,
and terrible,
I
but
want to talk
I
about that.
think I think bats are super cool creatures.
Yeah.
And most people don't know they're pollinators. They're considered
Yeah.
pollinators. So
Yeah.
Really?
You gotta have them.
That gives you a different perspective and appreciation for
I
them.
think though part of it is the marketing for the raccoon because people get paid decent money to get rid of raccoons, and so they demonize the raccoon. That's my own opinion. Because they like okay, so mice or rats, I think they would give way worse. I mean, besides the chicken eating thing, like they like think about all the different diseases and all that stuff. At least raccoons, they kind of stick to their spot.
yeah, and they are vectors for rabies, and I think that's the big scare. Is
That makes sense.
a lot of people
But
were grown up.
you can run away from it. A freaking squirrel, you cannot run away. You cannot outrun a squirrel.
So I think most people
Like-
were raised with the assumption that if you see a raccoon or you see a possum
Yeah.
in broad daylight, they have rabies. Stay away.
Mhm.
That's it.
Everybody's
That's
been
it.
raised to assume and to know.
Yeah.
If you see a raccoon walking through your yard, you're like, oh my gosh, I got to shoot this thing. It's got
Yeah.
rabies. But the truth of the matter is, they're animals. They're going to utilize whatever they need to find a food source. Like if they're
Yeah.
starved because there's not a food source, they're going to trek the miles, no matter what time of day it is, to
Yeah.
look for food.
Mhm.
So it doesn't. I think
You
that's
see
where
it in
it's-
you see it in the sun. You know it's hurting.
Yeah. Well, or it's just.
I mean, like you know what I mean. Like
Or it's just passing through, or it's displaced, or
That's what I
who
mean,
knows?
yeah.
You know, there's a
Yeah.
lot of variables.
like he's got to do something. Like give him a lift.
You can typically look
Buy
at
an
an
Uber.
animal
Like,
with
let's go.
rabies or mange, and it identifies the animal is a little erratic.
So yeah,
So-
I was gonna say so rabies meter. So raccoon waving, obviously not rabies.
No.
But a raccoon looked like a drug addict. I
Just
don't know,
foaming, or like missing hair, or
missing hair.
just
together.
looks like.
Can you give
they
us
went-
like a sound that we can kind of put together with the raccoon, like a sound that has like a rabies sound?
No.
Can you make any animal noises like that?
No, I can't. No, but like it's one of those things where if it looks like I have trapped some, and then
Yeah.
obviously those are the ones that you need to, they can't continue. So usually they're really, really, really aggressive,
Mhm.
even in the cage, right?
Mm,
But like
yeah,
I've caught raccoons many times where they're aggressive at first,
yeah.
and then I start talking to them,
And then
and then they're just chill.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, I know you're not going to eat me. I know you're not going to hurt me, and
Yeah.
they're chill. And even when I release them, they
It's-
just run, you know? It's
Yeah.
not like they make a UE and come back at me.
Right, right.
The ones that are mange or rabies bound,
Yeah.
there's no releasing them, and they don't stop like trying to come
Yeah.
at you.
You just
So
gotta send them to the next place.
you got to send them to the over the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I remember, yeah. Oh, there's so many. I love these conversations. So, okay, bats. Bats are a huge protected wildlife species right now up until a certain point. Can you kind of go into that a little bit?
Yeah, so there's because you brought up protected species, there are actually two. So
Okay, yeah.
birds are protected under the Bird Nesting Protection Act, right?
Wait. Bird as in like
Nesting birds that have babies and eggs, just
Okay.
birds, right?
So all birds.
All birds. So you can't actually remove a bird from anywhere if they have eggs in the nest.
Oh wow.
Because they're
I
protected
had no
under
clue.
they're protected
Dude.
under the Bird Protection
My
Act.
whole neighborhood would be this, be in jail because of trees and I mean like they're like I see not I mean they're not killing anything, but I mean technically like I just did this the other day where there's a nest and a deck and I had to take it and I had to bring it somewhere else. So you can't do that.
Nope.
As long as there's an egg there.
As long as they're a viable source of life.
That's actually a
But
decent, I mean it's annoying because you can't drive in ditches, but it's a decent I see it. I see it now.
yeah, so basically if there's a bird call and there's an active nest,
Mhm.
we have to wait until the birds fledge,
Fledge.
and then we would take care of the nest, and then we would do mitigation so that they can't build there again.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's like ongoing
That's a
mitigation.
good. Yeah.
Now that we know the birds are protected when they're nesting under the Bird
Mhm.
Protection Act, bats are protected federally under the
Oh.
bat. The big
Oh,
thing with bats
crazy.
is they're considered pollinators, for one. Two,
Why?
they're
Why do
registered
they pollinate?
through their guano, just like anything else,
Like,
so
like it's and what
and they
what
and
what
they
what plant benefits the most by a bat?
that's a good, probably all of them. That's a good question. But so then the other thing is
I stumped you.
their level
Just
of
joking.
insects that they can eat in
Ugh.
the night, so
Oh,
they're
that
they're insect
I'm a
mitigation.
1000% happy bat nights.
Yeah.
Like that, like the amount of killing insects like mosquitoes.
And so
Get 'em all.
and then the other thing is they are listed on the species list, endangered species list and stuff. So there's
Wow.
flux in tracking that. So
We should have brought some animals in here and
bats, I should have. Should just hit. So this bat here, no. So bats are federally protected. So that means from
Yeah.
May 1st through September or late August,
Mhm.
there's a blackout window, which means within that
Because
window,
they're having babies.
you cannot mitigate bats from a home or a living space because they're having babies.
Yeah.
Now,
Wow.
in the event that someone did
Mhm.
mitigate a bat during that time and that bat can't come back into its young, the young dies, which is a huge federal offense, and then two, it dies, creates all these other things, and it becomes more of a problem.
Daryl, did you know this?
No.
I know, right? This
Yeah.
this is so good.
So there's some
I'm glad I don't have bats, so I don't feel any
Yeah,
guilt or
seriously.
repentance needed.
So like a lot of
Same.
owners, I talk to
Yeah.
people and they get really upset because they're like,
Yeah.
I've got these nasty things living in my space and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
And I can't.
yeah.
And they always wonder like, well, what about my health? And I said, unfortunately,
You don't
I
man.
go underneath the Bat Protection
Yeah.
Act, which is federally.
Right.
Your health is the federal health department, right? That's the health.
Yeah.
That's not my wheelhouse. So
Yeah.
I can't speak
Like
on that.
I could do something technically. I mean, I like we have had to help and do stuff, but I don't think I've ever had to displace any babies or anything like that. I don't think. I mean, I've dealt with it, but I don't think I've ever because you're taking out a wall, dude, and it's not like there's
No, what do
the
you,
line
what
is
do you,
great, man.
oh, no, it's not great. So like, because it's like a set line, what do you do in that case? Say you're in the middle of a
Ariella.
what you're building something, there's a bat. I'm not aware of this having happened actually, Justin, but what do you do then? Like, so what was the time from when to when that you cannot move the bats?
May through late August, early September.
Because they
first
can
part of September.
have babies.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So the
Okay.
bat season's very, very small window. But I
Okay.
will say there are companies out there that still do bat mitigation because the federal, it's so gray.
Yeah.
The
right,
federal and state basically just says, if you feel without a reasonable doubt that the babies are not in that attic space and you put a door up and you feel comfortable enough with that,
Yeah.
that's fine. But then that gray area leads into 2 months prior to the
Right.
window lifting, feeling
Right.
good about the bats not having babies in there.
So, but this is one thing too
Wow.
for people like that I didn't know about is the bat boxes
Mhm.
are a great like they're literally a solution that is helping destroy the mosquito population.
Yeah, so what we
Like,
do,
which we all want.
what we do with bats specifically is we go and we assess all the areas that they're entering the home. Again, bats can get into the very weird areas, right? But 9 out of 10 times they're always the same
Ugh,
area on every
awesome.
single home, right?
Yeah.
So
Soft baby.
yep. So we just put one-way doors
Wood.
in where they can get out and not come back in.
Yep.
We permanently seal it up. Then we
Yep.
go in the attic space and we spot clean the attic with places that are soiled with guano and stuff.
Yeah.
Then we use a botanical solution to
Yeah.
sanitize it. And then after that, then we
Mhm.
put bat boxes up. And there's
Okay.
only
So it's like through the system, then it's the bat boxes if you need to, because a lot of times they'll go
because
find
people
it.
want the bats, but they don't want them in the house, you know,
Yeah.
and you're not going to get rid of the bats, but you don't want them in your house.
In the winter, back in the day, if you didn't have a house, like I get confused by some of this stuff because like I don't know where, like in the winter, where do they hang out at? They have to find something that's warm enough. So like if there was no houses, so long ago, that could help.
And they don't hibernate, they just slow down. They slow their bodies down.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like you would think like, all right, let's say 100 years ago, right? We didn't really have much attics, right? It was just kind of a house. People obviously didn't have like I mean, I'm just saying like the like they'd have to find a literal cave. They would have to, I mean, like a tree would have to be huge for it to find, to stay warm enough.
Mhm.
Like it's just crazy.
They
Like
bundle in. So those little bat boxes, we've got bat boxes like
Yeah,
two
I
chain
was
bat
wondering.
boxes like this,
Yeah.
little ones. They
Tell-
can hold up to 75.
75?
Because the brown bats will pack in there, and that's what they keep their warmth. Is they just a
That
giant
makes sense
blanket.
now. So then they're like a beehive, a bat hive.
I know.
Oh, that makes sense.
And so
Oh
the
man.
big thing with bats
Oh.
is I get homeowners that'll say, "Hey, I don't have bats. I looked in the attic. I don't have bats, but
Oh,
I
you
still
do.
hear things scratching. I think it's mice." And I always have to tell the homeowner, it's like,
It's bats.
you're not going to see the bats.
Right.
This common misconception of you're going to open your attic space and they're going to be roosting
No.
in the. They don't do that.
I've
They
seen it, but they
actually
don't do it.
burrow in your insulation.
That's what I was
like
gonna say.
mice.
What?
Yeah.
Stay warm.
Yeah. So a lot of times when we go, no, listen to this. So this is something that we just recently had to deal with. Is like I told somebody, I'm like, hey, that's not mice, dude. And he's like, well, it's little mice and with the. I'm like, that's not mice droppings.
Mhm.
It's like liquid. It's like weird. It's like more gray, liquidy. I'm like, that's not mice droppings unless it was a sick mouse. But it was everywhere. But the thing is, what you're saying, I never understood that until now. Like like mice don't have like big. There's not like pockets of nest. It's like they kind of just do their thing. There's no reason to stay up there.
Mhm.
But there's pockets where I'm like, they must have had a squirrel or something, and that explains it. The bat talk is so fascinating because it's
So
not
they burrow, and you can actually see the tunnels that let you into them. And then on top of that, how you know the difference between bats and mice is mice poop sporadically,
Right. That's it.
Bats poop in piles because
Yeah.
they'll poop where they're roosting, right?
Yeah.
So if you pop your head up in the attic and then you got a daisy chain of just piles, right?
Oh.
You know you've got bats. If you just got things like you threw a hand of pepper in your attic space and that's just pepper,
Oh, shit.
then that's probably rodent.
Oh, hold on. Let's check in on Louie. Louie, do you got bats where you're at? You don't have to come on camera. I'm just curious. Like this talk, man, it's just wild. Like every day for you, but all right. Anyways. Okay, okay. I gotta tone it down here. I get like so much adrenaline, like just talking about because I love these things. It's so cool. Like all right. So we have a little bit of time left, and I saved some of the best for last. Real quick, I'm a lover of all animals. I have respect, but I have a respect line, and sometimes I like the word release into their greater future because you just got to release some dang snakes into their greater future sometimes because you can't get them out of where they're at, and you don't, you know what I mean? Like, so let's talk about our couple of my favorite subjects. So let's hit the snake talk. So snakes are really interesting, right? Because you can't really poison them. They're like you can, but they're like invincible. Like it's really like a sticky trap is like you can poison their food source that gets to them, but like they're just unique.
Or you can smoke them
You can smoke them. Sorry, that was the other one.
because they only have one lung, so they wouldn't be able to process it. They would suffocate. So
Oh, wow. So what's a humane way to like
They have one
get
lung.
rid of snakes? Oh my God, I did not know this. How
Wait,
many eggs
wait,
can
hold
they
on, hold on,
lay?
hold on. Are you saying like you get like a bunch of cigarette smoke and you're just like that's enough?
no, we've been in
just
houses
joking.
where we have a sulfate can
Okay, yeah.
that's lit. Obviously, you don't want to do that as a homeowner. People have burned their houses down doing that.
Right,
And then
right.
you
Oh,
get the sweet,
Yeah.
and then they come out
They
and
come out.
just yeah.
Okay, so the reason why we're talking about this, and it's far enough removed, and it's like we had an experience. It was pretty far from here though. It was it was a while. I don't know. It was a while to drive. It was like snakes were literally underneath the concrete of the foundation of the house. Like they somehow got in, and then they like there was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot, and it was like they just people just kind of wake up and they're like, oh shoot, I have snakes. And like I was really excited because you told them the same thing. There was signs.
Mm-hmm.
So think about this. Let's say you have 60 people, right? Hanging out in your basement. You would know because they ate so much food. It's a lot of energy, especially if these things were big. So my question is, before you hyperventilate about snakes, what is like some of the things before you find out you have 70 snakes in your basement or whatever? What are some of those ways that you can be sure that they are snakes, that you're not just making up some type of crazy idea in your head?
Yeah. Well, you kind of have to know. I always tell people, being a pest control technician, the products and the processes is only half of the
Yeah.
job. You have to know the animal
Yeah.
or the insect that you're mitigating. That's the half that most homeowners don't know.
Yeah.
That's why they don't take care of the problem themselves.
Right.
They'll go to big box stores and say, "Oh, this says
Yeah.
100% effective for snakes." They
But
go
then
and buy it.
your dog's
and then-
gonna get
Yeah.
seizures. That's
Yeah.
what happened to ours.
Yeah.
Like I'm guessing someone poisoned some animal, and then my dog, we came home and it seized up. We didn't do any poison, but the old homeowner had a ton of random crap everywhere. It smelled like a bleach, like
Mhm.
our house smelled really, really intense.
So the basic
anyways.
rule of thumb is like,
Give us the snake rule.
if you see a mouse,
Mhm.
it's probably time to do something about it. But if you see a snake in your house, it's too late.
what?
Oh shoot!
So like,
Oh,
because they literally, a lot of the homes we service that have snakes, it's because they have rock beds around their home.
So okay, Sherburne County people and like sand people, right? So we live in a sand desert type thing, like sand dunes.
We live on an anthill.
And we literally like north of Anoka is an anthill,
Mhm.
right? And they say, oh, there's clay. No, there's a little bit of clay, but it's only near the rivers. So I love this story. So back in when was it, like 2012 or whatever? They had
yeah.
there's a bunch of farms that had mice problems. So what did they do? And like literally over by, I don't know, let's say Meadowvale area, like the little walking paths.
They introduce snakes.
They literally, there was like, you can find it online, is like they released, I can't remember what it was like 5,000 snakes. They paid a guy from Malacca who had like a lot of snakes and like, and a couple others, but he was like the main contributor. He came down, he built like some type of fence and said like, oh, we're gonna release the snakes and I'll come get them in a couple weeks after everything's dead, like after all the mice has dissipated, whatever. This is nuts. The mice, there's still a problem, and then they can't find the damn snakes because they burrowed in the ground and underneath they made it to people's houses, and now here we are. There's new homes being built on the snake habitat, and nobody is talking about it. There's going to be 324 homes on that exact property. I looked it up. It's not fiction. Jared, we need a savior.
Or you just need to stop having people release snakes. But so the thing is the main problem that you get a snake in your home, they're in your home for two reasons. One, because they found their way in.
Yeah.
and they found their way in through multiple portions.
Yeah.
They could be underneath your front step, and they got into the block, and then once they're in the block, because the block's hollow,
Yeah.
they just
They just
zigzag
zigzag.
until they find a portion of the 2x4 that's framed off, right?
Yeah. Well,
And then they
the
come up into the
electrical
block.
is that's
Yep.
that's another reason why. So contractors, right? So when you build a wall, now they make you spray foam every crack.
Mhm.
And people are like, oh, it's sound, insulation value. No, dude, like your 2x4s are like there's air in those things. Like it's really for pest control.
Mhm.
It's really for pest control because they're building so fast in their environment.
Yep. And
Like
so the snakes are
it's
going
not
in the
just
house, and the
eat.
snakes are going
Like,
in the house for the mice that were already a problem that
yeah.
were never addressed.
Oh man.
So that's what happens. And then they find that as a viable food source,
Yeah.
a great place to den, and then they start having babies in your home. And then it just becomes an infestation.
So, and this is another interesting thing, right? So, I thought that was kind of interesting. There's like a certain thing, so mildew and mold and stuff like that,
Mhm.
right? Cold, dark, damp. Snakes, you're kind of looking at some of the opposite. I mean, depending on the season, is like warm, right? Isn't it like it's moist still?
Mhm.
It's moist, warm, and what was the other one? Like heat, like during the summers.
Mhm.
And then during the winters, it's not like they're climbing on your siding. Say start out in your basement, and then they like the a home that like that. There is stories of them, and I've seen it where they're literally come from the base and up to the ceiling in a basement to the attic.
Yeah, they'll stand on their tails
They'll
and then
stand
they'll
on their
just
tails and they'll just go.
walk up.
And we're talking about like not just gardener snakes, like where we live, right? Thankfully, we don't have to deal with like a lot of different venomous snakes, but the corn snakes are legit. Like they're big.
Rat snakes, bull
Rat snakes, bull
yep.
snakes are big. Like,
Hognose snakes, yep.
yep. And what is the one that we do have that's like technically a rattlesnake, but it like rattles, but it's not venomous or something?
That is the
You know what I'm talking about,
yep,
right?
yep.
Like we found one.
You find them mostly southern Minnesota.
Yeah, we found one. It was like we were working in like Minneapolis or like South Minneapolis, and they apparently I'm guessing it was a pet though. I don't like anyways. So all right, a couple more things about the snakes. So with the snake thing, it's like one thing to have them because they're just freaking creepy. I mean, they're kind of like to me they're kind of like bats. They're like a necessary like but the problem with the snakes, you see them during the day, and they have a lot more energy towards people. Like they do avoid, but like they'll stand in. The poor things they can't go anywhere.
The
They're
homes
just like,
the homes that have the snake issues
yeah,
are the homes with boulder
yeah.
retaining walls
Oh man, this
as
is so good.
landscaping
Oh,
and
so good.
or the rock
Yeah.
around your house.
Yeah,
The homes that have mulch around
Yeah.
their house don't really see a whole lot of snakes.
yeah.
It's the rock beds
It
that have
keeps the
snakes
warmth at night, right?
because they sun on it and
Yeah.
also they can slither through it
Yeah.
and shed their skin.
Oh my God.
So I always tell homeowners, like, I don't understand why I have snakes. And I said, because you created the habitat to
Yeah.
have snakes.
Yeah.
So in order to
Made it
deter
perfect.
the snakes permanently, you need to modify what's attracting them to your
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And the other thing though, we didn't really hit on it though, as much is like they are like very strong. Like they're ridiculously strong. So like a 2x4, if they need to get to point A to point B, they will find a way to break it. Like it's not that they don't really eat the 2x4.
Mm-mm.
They just kind of like use their head and just freaking back and forth and
They'll find a hole.
they find a hole and they exploit it.
Mhm.
And it's just fascinating because it's not like a mouse. They're not like displaced. They're not like they're just they're incredible animals. Like,
And then they're creatures of habit.
oh,
So once they find that
God.
hole, that's the only hole they'll find. And then you'll seal it up and you're like, okay, figure the issue out. And then they'll spend the next few days finding a new hole.
Oh my
like
God.
the top plates of block is like some of their favorite spots.
Mhm.
Like they can groove in where that caulk, like on new homes, that seal it. Like I just saw snake skin on a in a basement I looked at for in a new home, and it was like not even a year old. But I'm
Oh my God.
and the other thing is they build these things so fast they're not actually checking. Like Even the house that we went to wasn't that old. I mean, it was old, but it wasn't 15 years. It was only like 6, 7. I think it was like 10 years. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're gonna calm down here. Daryl, have any questions or anything, or any other of the people that are here spending time with us?
This is Daryl. The only question that Ariella or you guys didn't ask for me was, I think we had a red squirrel in our attic at some point, and whether it died there or it got out, once I felt I found a spot that it got through and fixed it. We haven't had one now for years, but you talked about how small a hole a mouse could get through. What's the size of a hole for a squirrel to get through in case I find any other spots?
Size of a hole that a squirrel can get through is the size of the hole that a squirrel's willing to chew.
Ooh.
So
that's like a
Oh, shoot.
Dr. That's what
Daryl, we can do metal siding.
Dr. Jerry.
yeah, so that's the big thing is squirrels aren't considered rodents per se. They're considered mammals, but their teeth do still grow the same, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a red squirrel is my nemesis,
Dude,
because
they
they
are
will
crazy.
take your soffit or your fascia and open it up
Yeah.
and bend it and crawl in. And if you have any wood at all, they'll chew it until they can get in it.
Yeah. And
Oh my
not
God.
only that, but this is we talked about this. This is one of my like the most horrific scenes I think I've ever seen based on an animal, besides, like a raccoon falling through a ceiling or whatever. But they don't do this. So one thing is like your electrical for all of your wire, especially, and even new, but a lot of old Romex wire, it's coated with peanut butter. Like peanut oil, not peanut butter. Peanut oil. Peanut oil. And not only that, but the vibration of the electric and the heat, they think it's bugs. And so like we went to a house, man, when I first started out, like back in remodeling, and I thought it was I thought, oh, angry person, hoarder, whatever. There was just like it looked like gunshots, just like shooting everywhere, and there's like it looked like just someone went in there with a hammer, just did everything. And it ended up being the homeowner was home, and a squirrel just ate through it all, and they didn't have like this, like, would bite a wire, never died, just kind of went to the next thing and just loved eating the wire. And so they followed all the electrical wire throughout the whole house and destroyed it, and destroyed the whole house and furniture and everything. Red squirrel. So
Wow.
yeah,
Sounds like a squirrel army though. That sounds like a lot of damage. Crazy.
I mean it doesn't take long. Have you ever seen any crazy things like that with the squirrels eating stuff? Because
Yeah.
you have?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what? Like what's kind of some of your
Well, the gray squirrels are, they're like, I don't know, I got here just because I found my way in, but now I see you, I should probably leave, you know?
Yeah, right.
Gray squirrels are like, no, I will die on this hill.
Squirrels.
It's you.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be me.
Yeah, I like the black ones. They seem nice, and it's like you kind of like, but there's like some squirrels like we have squirrels off of our poplar trees. It sounds like they're like you literally think there's like people dying, like they're just like fighting, and like I'm like, oh my gosh, there's that like every night my dogs are like, oh, someone's over there, and they're just like two squirrels freaking just hate each other as neighbors, and they just freaking go at it.
They have a Chihuahua mentality,
Yeah,
but in the wild.
yeah.
Like Chihuahuas think they're,
Yeah, it's
Alaskan
so funny.
snow dogs, and then the red squirrels think they're just giant, and they're not.
So if you got squirrels and soffits and stuff like that, and you got like wood soffit fascia, like you really don't have a lot of options. You got to, like, how do you get rid of those things?
So you can do a one-way door that's
like
that's sealed. So like the squirrel goes in through the door, but they can't get back out. Then you unscrew it, and then you go release them. Or you can put in a one-way door where they can get out, but they can't get back in.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because I'm like they're like those things you can't really. It's not like you poison them. Like it's you can't.
And you're not gonna live trap them in the attic because they know better.
You're not gonna live trap them. Yeah, you're not gonna they're not gonna sticky trap because the mice already got in the sticky trap, and then they have no reason to go over there.
And it's not humane.
And it's not humane, obviously. But I'm just saying, like I'm giving some perspective. Like you don't get some of these things. You really the mitigation's pure. It's pure mitigation. Like
I have
prevention. Excuse me. Here
I
I have
have
a follow-up question about red squirrel. If you know that you see them in your yard, but so far, at least you claim they're not in your house, do people then try to live trap them uh, on the trees they're in or something in their yards, on their decks, and then move them someplace else?
Do people do, or have we? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, do you have other people? Is that
Yeah,
what people should do?
yeah, we have. The problem with live trapping in people's yards is like, unless you're like, unless you're have an actual squirrel trap, a smaller one, you have a fear of accidentally trapping a feral cat
Yeah, dude.
or
Yeah,
something else you're
almost
not looking for.
almost every time it's something else.
Yeah.
Like with squirrels, like they're so smart and like I don't know if you've ever seen them like get spooked. They are so agile. It's not like they're like they go left to right or like forward backward. They go like forward jump and then spin and then like they're somehow like their instincts are so good. We've had like so many times where what you're intending on catching is never with a squirrel. It's really like you
And
just you
we
got
run that risk
do what
quite a
they did
bit.
with the snakes and you release the cats. That's all you got. Just
Yeah.
release the cats.
We are seeing some on our deck with our bird feeders, and the gray squirrels we tolerate once in a while, a red one's there. So I'm thinking out on my deck with a trap, and if a gray squirrel gets in, let him go, and if a red squirrel's there, then relocate them or something. I don't know if that's realistic.
That's the common thing, and that's kind of the biggest thing that I talk to homeowners about. I preach all the time, what's the best way to keep an animal out of my home or around my home is you have to modify the habitat that they're comfortable with.
Yeah.
So bird feeders attract squirrels.
Bears.
Yeah.
Everything, right? So if you're going to put a bird feeder on your deck, you have the inherent responsibility of now having a squirrel problem on your deck.
I think this is so funny because like if you think about like the ability to get food sources, the very thing that you want to feed is the thing that has an abundance and can literally fly anywhere they want. And then you're like, I'm gonna put it on this pole that has like a ramp, or I'm gonna put it on a tree. You know what I mean? It's so funny to me. I mean, obviously the birds are way more fun to watch, eat, and they're pretty, and but I'm like, it's funny how that works with us. Is like the very thing that probably could actually get food fast and easy is like they're so pretty.
I have some clients that are like, oh my gosh, I have deer that are eating everything and everywhere.
Right.
And then I walk around their yard and they have a salt block and a deer feeder.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're literally welcoming them. Not all of them, some of them,
joking.
right? But they're literally, anytime you're feeding wildlife, you're giving them an opportunity to establish that as their new habitat.
Well, and that's a great topic right there is like the deer are not they're not like a desperate. I mean, there's some I'm sure, but they're not like a desperate animal. It's the area is created for them to enjoy. Like that's like when it comes to gardens and stuff like that. It's like for example, a squirrel, they'll if you had something here and your neighbors had something, they'll go as far as they go just for fun because they got something to do. Deer, they're it's a routine. So it's like every year your garden grows, every year you don't have something there. The question, when it comes to gardens and deer, like some people cover their stuff with like a little filmy thing. Some people like my grandma, what she does, she puts these soap bars out and then they eat the soap. They're like, oh, this sucks, but then they find out later, like they just go around it. What is your idea on deer and gardens?
It is
I don't know enough about deer.
It's very hard to combat. We have products that we use to deter deer, and it works. But the problem that we have is so many people with gardens and spaces like that use artificial rain.
Oh,
so your sprinkler
I've
system.
never thought about that.
So we can use anything organically to keep them away.
Yeah.
And it will. But if it's raining on your property every single day for 6 hours at a time,
Dude,
it washes that away, and then the deer just come back.
My grandma's gonna be so brokenhearted and also happy. Like that's her like her little garden thing. Every year, all the deer came over and ate what I was so excited about, and I'm like, and she has the fence and whatever. Like I think ours don't come around because of our dogs and the goats. I mean they ate your sunflowers, but that's that right there. That's worth like. There should be like a package that's like the happy gardener with the happy pest control. You know what I mean? Like the not pest, what is it called? We don't use pest like is it animal diverter control mitigation. Thank you. Animal mitigation. All right, I got two more questions.
Okay.
And I have to leave now, guys. Sorry.
It's all good. I know.
Thank you, Gerald.
I got
Jared.
Thankfully, my
We
other
appreciate you.
got 15 minutes before my other meeting. Okay, so another question then. Hey, Louie and Sophia, you guys doing good? Who else is on here?
It says Darlene has been on.
Darlene's on here. Oh, Darlene, we gotta talk about your garden and
Sure, he knows.
yeah, I'm sure like her backyard is it's like what is that place? Sheba's Temple, but for gardening. You know what I mean? Like you know what I'm talking about? Like it's just like beautiful, glorious. The Taj Mahal of like landscaping. So couple questions and then I'm gonna be done. And Darlene, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to interrogate interrogate Jared here. But so I think the other thing is bees. So I have my own thing and I want to share it before you share because I want to see how off I am.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, remember the PETA line with the bees and stuff. So I have a line for myself. So I used to install gutters for a season of my life. So hornets, yellow jackets, anything that's like actually like aggressively hurts rather than like the bumblebee and stuff like that. Like real quick, I don't have like an enemy complex with snakes or bats or any living thing that I know of right now. I have a respect line like don't buzz me. I don't,
Don't buzz me.
don't buzz me. but so like it's not like I'm actually going out and I'm gonna go out and kill a yellow jacket.
Mm-hmm.
But the frequency of how much I will kill those things, 1,000% goes up when I see them because I'm allergic to it, right? So it's like I have that line. So my line ends here. It's cute, fuzzy, and or like I don't know because you stay there and you don't move and you're wearing like black or whatever they still come over and then they're like so my question is in the insect world in the bee world because I know we're like the bees are going we need more bees from what I hear is that and so basically mine stops at like yellow jacket hornet like I still love and respect they're cool but like I will kill you if you're in my facility. But if you're a buzzy bumblebee, there's a couple different types of hornets. I don't remember what's called. Like basically, I'm talking about like the ones that are in the ground, like those
Ground bees or paper wasp.
the paper wasp. That's those things. But like some of the bigger ones, I don't mind them. Paper wasp, like I'll destroy that thing like as soon as I find out.
Or a bulk place hornet nest.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. So, anyways, where like I feel like everybody like people just put them in a one big bubble and they shouldn't.
Mm-mm.
They just like kill them all. I'm like, no, dude. There's like some bees that are actually cool, and there's some hornets that are actually legit. Like just not in the fall time when they're crabby.
In the pest control world, if they're considered a pollinator
Mm-hmm.
in any capacity,
that's it.
in
Yeah,
any
I gotta
capacity,
remember that.
then they're safe.
Okay.
If they're considered non-pollinating,
Mm-hmm.
then they become a nuisance.
Yeah.
And
It's
those
like
nuisance pests are usually the ones that will just fly by and sting you because they can.
Yeah.
Most pollinators, there's a variance of some that don't.
Yeah.
Most pollinators, if they sting you,
Yeah.
they die
Yeah.
because the stinger gets removed.
So
Nuisance pests like hornets and wasps, their stinger does not fall out; it retracts.
That's
So
why.
it stings you 10 times.
yeah. So that's a good question. Like, but so the term hornet wasp, like it's like an insect term, but there's not like a pollination. Like they're really like a mosquito in a way. They just suck.
There's really not a whole lot of purpose for them.
Like
Yeah.
they just not suck. I mean, like they just like there's not really a purpose. Like because nothing really can eat them. Like,
Yeah.
they're so freaking poisonous. Like that's
Yeah.
wild. Yeah, I didn't know because, like I said, a lot of people they just put it all. I mean, in my world,
I will give you a little hack, an organic hack. If you have those pollinating bees,
yeah,
like bumblebees
Yeah.
or
I-
even carpenter bees sometimes,
Mhm.
and they made a nest underneath a deck or something.
Yeah. Mhm.
The easiest way to deter them without hurting them
Mhm.
is cinnamon.
Oh,
What?
okay.
So,
Oh, this is a good life hack.
so if you have a pollinator,
Yeah.
because if it's something else, you can torch it, you
Right,
know.
right.
But if you have a pollinator and you don't want to disturb them or hurt them,
Yeah.
you can sprinkle some cinnamon
Yeah.
in
Wow.
your hive area,
Yeah.
and that cinnamon is a annoyance. They don't like how it feels or whatever. So then they vacate that spot organically,
Yeah.
and then that hive just dries up and it dies.
Wow.
Wow.
That is
I have a follow-up question. And then I know we want to close because we want to respect your time, Jared, but how do you feel about beekeeping? Like,
Beekeeping's great.
yeah. Okay. Because that's
actually-
something.
Sorry, go
What?
ahead.
No, Justin, were you gonna say something?
nothing. You ain't doing it.
What? Come on.
There you have
We'll get you an EpiPen.
So we have a couple clients actually where we've helped them set up their honeybee hives.
Mhm.
And I have another client that we're helping here in the spring set up their pollinating.
Okay.
Yeah, very cool.
So we have those mediums that we can do too to give, you know, some life back into things. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's great. People that have the bees, and in fact, the state of Minnesota gives you a it's like $400 a month
What?
if you create a space that's pollinator friendly,
No
and
way.
you just leave it alone.
That's my house.
So you can register it,
Yeah.
and they give you, I think it's up to like $400 or something to maintain it.
Like a 17.
I can do a whole area of that in our yard. That would be
I have a
amazing.
client that her whole yard is just
Wow.
growing wild with
Is
native
it
plants.
is it like per box capita?
I don't
That'd
really
be-
know what the
that'd be
parameter is,
pretty-
but
that'd
you
be pretty
just
wild.
apparently you apply for it. They send someone out. They do a walkthrough, and they say we'll
Okay,
give you
that
X
makes
amount of dollars if you keep it like this.
What is the most misunderstood insect you think? Like
The most I would have to say the box elder bug.
I was
Really?
gonna talk about it. I'm excited. Okay, tell me why, because
People get annoyed at them,
women-
especially when fall and winter are
especially,
coming.
like some women just that scent
Mhm.
and like the look and all that, they just hate them. Like
They're seasonal insects, so their only
I
job
like them.
is to
I think they're
live,
cool.
breed, and die.
What?
So that's their season,
yeah.
right?
Sad.
So a lot of
On
times,
the coolest trees ever.
yep, a lot of times people are like, I don't want them in my house or in my cereal. That's when
Yeah.
they're like, I got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
You do need to mitigate them in some capacity because they can blow up like
It's
wildfire.
crazy.
You know,
Yeah.
I've seen white houses where I pulled up and it looked like it was moving,
No way.
caked with box elder bugs. But ideally, if you were to, I'm not saying do it, but some homes don't have as much of them as most other homes. If they leave them alone, they're ultimately just going to organically die on their own. So there's no mitigation. But obviously, the best way to get rid of them is just a little bit of Dawn dish soap and some water, and just let them dry out.
I've heard that.
I love how you said obviously, but we had no idea.
The other question is, so that's in the insect world. In the animal kingdom, what is the most misunderstood animal in our area, or like that just gets?
I would have to go back to the raccoon.
Yeah, I agree. She doesn't agree, but I agree.
No, I like raccoons. I like all animals.
We almost hit one, and you said speed up.
That is a lie. I would never say that. He says those kind of things to get a reaction. Along with raising my voice, no thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with the raccoon. So one more hornet question. So like you're at a family dinner, right? Yeah, freaking hornets everywhere. They came out because someone opened up a thing of pop or just looked like they're alive with sugar. What's the way? What is there like? I heard cucumbers. You put cucumbers out there with salt or something on them. I've heard like all this different stuff. Is there really anything that you can do with hornets or like some of that crazy things?
You can mitigate the current activity, but you can't. I always tell homeowners all the time, I can't. If your neighbors aren't treating for whatever you have an issue with,
Yeah.
they're going to loiter over eventually, and that's going to be your problem too. So like, I know of people, and I've got to look it up because I don't know the right combination of it, but there's something that you can mix that you can put on a piece of raw meat in
I've
like
heard
a
of
trap,
that. Yeah.
and then you set it out in like a jar or whatever, and they'll come and eat it, and they'll ultimately die.
Right. I've heard that.
so those traps, meat-based traps,
Yeah.
always help.
But oh, sorry. The other question is, so like our house, when we first moved in, there's hornets freaking everywhere all the time, like paper wasps, whatever else, like every single time. It was so sad. And now they have moved on to another life. And I was wondering, is it because of the garden? Because she has a garden? Does that help with the like what eats those things? Like, is it because like we have more birds around? But the lady had a ton of bird feeders. Or I was just kind of thinking like naturally they kind of just from what I know disappeared, and I didn't remove any. I mean, I covered up one ground, mounty thing, and that's it. Like I never took out the giant one on the tree and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I was like, I need to learn what I did, but I guess it could be multiple hundreds of thousands of stuff, but.
So, Jared, closing thought, what is one thing you want to leave a homeowner with? Like how can people in addition to how can people find you and where can they like follow you on the social media?
Yeah, so really good question. So like I guess in the end, it's kind of one of those things where there's a lot of homeowners that do it themselves and they realize that they don't have the other 50% it takes, which is knowledge of it. So I think the one piece that I want to leave and what I always leave with homeowners is I always educate them on what I'm going to do, why I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And then after I'm done, I let them know what I did and how that's going to affect things going further. Very transparent and clear. Some people will just come and do something, hang a door tag, and you don't even know what they did or if it was anything that was addressed.
Man, it's so sad.
So, like, we believe in educating homeowners
Yeah.
at the start. And if they choose through that education piece to not use us, that's okay.
Yeah.
But at least we know that they're better educated for what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
I mean, I've even helped homeowners handle it themselves,
Mhm.
and they just paid me for a service call.
Right.
So it's like I would give them the tools they need to manage it themselves if they want to. So a lot of the times I have this philosophy where if we do a service to them in any capacity and it's for some reason works us out of a job eventually, that's the best client.
Yeah.
Because that means you did what you were doing and it took care of the problem. You didn't put a Band-Aid on it and then all of a sudden you're having residual ongoing
Right.
management of said problem.
Yeah. There's definitely
Cool.
a mystery factor with some like the most, even though you can be educated and you see the patterns, there's still a mystery because there's so many different things in the ecosystem that really come down to it, right? And it's like, especially we're dealing with things we have never had to really deal with. I mean, maybe in the city, but I'm talking about like, farm people or whatever. What I think what's happening is like the commonality of the understanding of like my grandparents and bugs. They're like they have a tolerance, but they also get like don't leave that out. Oh, don't do that. When we are growing up, and now people have moved so far out, and they're so disconnected from the land. They're so disconnected from what they eat that that connection is really valid. Like if you think, oh, I just need to kill frickin' everything, it's not. There's something inside that it isn't there. Like
Well, and the other thing is I get a lot of responses with I want to see the wildlife. I want to enjoy my yard. I want to enjoy the wildlife.
Man.
And it's like you can do that, but once you start inviting them up to your home in whatever capacity, because you want to enjoy them from your deck, you're gonna also enjoy them in your attic and you're gonna enjoy them in your bedroom.
Right.
So
Closing thoughts. All right, so final closing thought, Jared, where can people find you?
You want to flash it up here?
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically you can find us so this is how you can reach us. You can reach us online at the Mosquito and wildlifepros.com.
Yeah.
The Mosquito Militia at Gmail. There's our phone number there. And we are on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. You can just
Awesome.
Mosquito Militia and you should be able to find us.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jared. We appreciate you.